Ladies and gentlemen, I am Shadow. Welcome back to an episode of Ringside Chatter. Tonight we're discussing the Stanley Cup Final between the Edmonton Oilers and the Florida Panthers. I am joined by a plethora of guests tonight on the panel. First, I'd like to introduce the man that keeps the show running, the man that keeps me in check. He is known as Scals. What's going on?
What's going on, man? How are we doing tonight?
All right. Secondly, this man is very still new to hockey, but he has taken a love down south and loving the Dallas Stars. He is Mr. Jamie Rose.
What's up, everybody?
On.
Western Conference runners up. Bad, but
Tonight, making his Ringside Chatter off the top debut, he is a WHL scout for the current reigning, defending Moose Jaw Warriors. He is Justin Rayner.
How's it going, everybody?
How's it going? Making her way by way of Alberta, known Oilers fan, it is Danger Baby.
Ayo.
And I would be remiss if I don't bring the two men up that arguably could probably enter an Olympics against Cheech and Chong. They are the Pucking Dad Stoner cast. They are Dusty and Claus.
Yo, what's up?
What is going on, boys?
Happy to be
Coming
here.
in coughing.
I love it. I love it. So,
How's my driving?
so we're gonna talk about this tonight, the ultimate prize,
Lordo.
and it's a team that I didn't think would make the finals. For one, considering they were 31st in December, and that is the Edmonton Oilers. And
I'm not going
Go
to say
ahead.
I told you so when they fired their
Woodcroft?
when they fired the coach. I said that once he was gone, I was going to change the entire thing for this team.
Mm-hmm.
So
Honestly, I was last playoffs, I was really, really upset with Skinner. And he was even ashamed of himself. So I didn't have high hopes if they kept putting Skinner in, but I think that he's finally, showed some work,
that segues me into a point because I have read a lot on Twitter from Justin himself. Man, that's never doubted Skinner since the beginning.
Not a lot of people have. I'm probably like the only one that doesn't like him.
Justin, you have some intel on Mr. Skinner. Would you mind sharing that with us?
Yeah, I just think he's the bigger the moment, better he plays. Going all the way back to U15 AAA. His first year in the playoffs, he had a 900 in U15. Next year in the playoffs in U15, he had a 947. He did the same thing coming to the WHL. First year in the playoffs, he had an 862 in the WHL. Really bad showing. Next year after that, he went up to a 916. The year after that, he went to a 932 and took Swift Current to the Mem Cup. So I just think as he gains more experience, he has the type of mentality that the bigger the stage, the better he plays. So I think that's his best attribute, and he learns quickly from mistakes. So I think pulling him was an awesome move by Knob there, and it allowed him to get his mental reset, and you saw him play outstanding after that. So
Yeah. Pretty proud now. Still don't like it, but I'm pretty proud.
With Justin saying that, Jamie, how does that make you feel knowing that your team was on the receiving end of a Skinner reset?
Well, I mean, we got goalied. And, Ottinger had this amazing run. But at the end of the day, it was Skinner playing better goalie play. And that's going to win you games, and that's going to win you cups. So,
well, as a longtime Oiler fan, it's rare to hear that. Usually it's the other way around, as Danger Baby can probably attest. Usually it's the Oilers getting goalied. So
Yeah.
it was a nice feeling for sure.
If we're going to talk about teams getting goalied, me, Ginger, and Dusty,
Yeah,
holy.
I'd like to say something.
We get goalied nightly.
Is
We make
it-
everybody look like George Vesna.
Is it goalie though, or is it just like they just can't adapt to playoff style hockey?
I mean, from my point of view, just in the 2 years watching, I mean, because I my first year watching hockey, I watched a lot of Toronto Maple Leafs. And,
Yeah.
They pick up all this steam and they go full steam ahead. And then playoffs, they just they slow it down and just fall apart. They have, it's like watching a kid run around. He eats a piece of handy, and he has all this energy, and then finally towards the end, boom, just crashes out, and that's what I've seen from Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah, but we're not
Yeah.
talking about them. They've been crying since the first round, just like me and
Yeah,
Ginger
let's
and
not
Dusty.
talk about
So,
us. We got a better things to talk about.
uh, so before I've gotten Jamie's take on this, we have to. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about the other side of this. Scouts, how are you feeling after being thrown out of the playoffs by the Panthers?
I can't talk about it because I'm still pissed off at the bullshit that happened in that series. There's so much shit that happened in that to where if the Panthers were even called for half of the penalties that the Rangers were called, like the difference between the two teams, it would have made a whole difference in that series. And
I mean-
it was blatantly obvious in that series where there was so many missed calls on them, how it just changed the whole complexion of game 4. And if that penalty would have been called, they never would have scored the goal to put him 2-1. Like there's so many things that could have happened that changed the series, and it's still too ripe of a wound for me to discuss it.
So nobody else sees the irony of the fact that the Rats literally own New York, but somehow they ran away with that series. Because New York is known for its rat infestation, right?
The Rat's in Boston.
No,
He's not in Florida.
No,
I get
no,
what
no.
you're
He's
saying.
in Florida now. I sent the picture on Twitter. Y'all can go find it. He's supporting the Panthers now.
Oh,
The King Rat himself is down in Florida.
Marchand.
he's not at his beach house in Nova Scotia?
No, he's down in Florida wearing a King Rat mask.
I got to get my guys out of there.
So, does it honestly surprise anybody that the Panthers are back where they are?
Not at all.
No.
No, it's coming. Their day is
Yeah.
coming. It's sooner than ours.
Man,
Go Mavs.
I don't know, man. It's really tough. It's going to be a great series coming up. I don't know.
Scals, you have the graphic I sent you to load up here because this is interesting to me. I didn't realize how like on par with each other they really are. The Oilers and Panthers. Like this is going to be arguably one of maybe the best Stanley Cup Finals in recent memory. Maybe.
Yeah, I had all the stats here on the side as well. Like,
I'm pulling it up now.
yeah. So point leaders, you got McDavid, 31 points, and you got Matthew Tkachuk leading the Panthers with 19. That's
Insane.
quite a big discrepancy.
But this is the graphic that intrigues me here is like the goals per game. Like there's really nothing that screams somebody's got the better advantage here.
Yeah. I mean, besides power play.
If you think about it,
Yeah.
the goals per game difference is 0.26. The goals against difference is 0.32. So it's a toss up both ways.
Their power plays are both shit, but their penalty kills are good.
Yeah.
Well, playoff hockey, it's not shit because 37 is pretty good in the playoffs.
Yeah, dude, that's like the number. They're the number one power play all playoffs.
I don't understand how the penalty kill for Florida is 88.2 after shutting down the Rangers, only allowing one goal during the entire 6 games.
Don't even start on power play.
The shots against per game at all differential of 5, like
0.5.
Yes. And faceoffs can't be any tighter than that. Like that's where I feel like I'm not much of a analytic guy. Like I'd rather watch what's on the ice than pay attention to those stats.
Yep.
But that speaks a lot to how these two teams are built and why they're still standing.
Amen.
They definitely complement each other oppositely. So it'll be interesting for sure.
I mean, go ahead, Dusty.
I was gonna say like a question. So it's like if you're going to give the edge, I'll say like the different stuff. So like on offense, who are you giving the advantage to? Florida or Edmonton?
Edmonton.
Edmonton.
Yeah.
Kind of have to.
Yeah.
Honestly, to
So-
me,
Yeah,
it's
they've gotta
close. Like Edmonton's got the better big guns, but I think Florida's got more scoring throughout the lineup. So it's definitely,
and I think
definitely an
I
interesting
agree.
matchup.
And they can create the space, right? Those guys that are big can create that space, and they could be those guys that can slow the McDavid and Draisaitl down. And Sam
Yeah.
Bennett, Matthew
I mean,
Tkachuk,
Heiskanen
right?
tried too.
Yeah,
Do you
but
think
when you
Florida-
have multiple guys that are pretty much psychopaths on skates, taking shots at the McDavid, at Draisaitl, at Hyman.
Mhm.
I think your biggest question mark comes on defense because with Daryl Nurse is showing up in the final.
Yeah, if he
I
plays
don't.
pissed
I
off,
yeah.
he'll be
He's
good. But
the fucking overpaid pylon, and that's just kind of final in my opinion. He has shown a little bit more integrity this playoff season, but he has not had the ice time to earn the respect from me for sure.
he's only been good since getting crapped on in the media.
Yeah.
And that's the style he plays. That's the style he's best at, right? Playing
Mhm.
angry,
Yeah.
hitting. Like you
Man,
got to
I
be
wish that worked
a
for
Darnell
me.
Nurse that's out there not hitting people is basically useless. So
I have a coworker like that. You tell him he's lazy, the next day he'll blow you out of the water, dude.
you just gotta light a little fire, eh?
Yeah.
I've had about 700 coworkers like that.
I mean, if I'm correct on this, and I haven't checked anything, I didn't do the research properly here, and I apologize. Busy life for fucking kids. But
I hear ya.
Zach Hyman currently leads the NHL playoffs in goals, does he not?
Yep.
Yes.
Leaf legend Zach.
Zach Hyman, former Maple Leaf, playing for the Cup, leading the league in goals in the playoffs.
What?
But there's a reason he left the Maple Leafs, right?
Typical
Like,
Toronto.
usually is, yeah.
Get this actually. Two ex-Leafs actually both lead their teams in goals. So Zach Hyman leads the Oilers in goals, and Carter Verhaeghe leads the Panthers in goals.
That one stings a little bit because he never really got a true
Yeah.
shot here.
Yeah, exactly.
Cody Ceci
Yeah.
is playing for a Cup, guys.
Yeah, fuck, we forgot about him, didn't we?
That's a big question mark.
How he is playing the way he's playing right now, I don't know. But kudos to him.
He has
Holy
more
fuck.
goals in Game Sevens than the whole Leafs team has.
In the playoffs, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Wow. He's got more games.
Well, I mean, just in Game 7. So he has, obviously 2 Game 7s
Oh, I
on
didn't
that.
hear
but-
that part. No, fuck.
Yeah, dude, he has more goals in Game 7s than the Leafs did on all of Game 7, all the team.
Does he have 6 goals
And
in
he's
7
only had
games,
3 game
giving Ginger the 67 eclipse?
Oh no! Don't do this again. I can't handle it.
Now, we all know that Florida went on this godforsaken run last year. They played out of their fucking heads. This year they're more and I know Scals isn't going to agree, and that's fine. They're playing a little bit more controlled this year, as opposed to last year. They had nothing to lose last year. They have everything to lose this year.
Controlled
how
in what
dominant
sense?
they played.
Right?
Controlled in what sense?
They're playing a more calmer game. They're not
Okay.
doing what they did last year.
Sure.
See, that's why I said you weren't going to agree.
You're
Anyway.
right. I don't agree because
Except Bennett.
it's essentially thugs on ice on that team.
Yeah.
Every time they can, they take a cheap shot at another player, and the
Yeah,
refs are
dude,
just
they're-
not seeing it.
That's what
So,
it seems like.
Can
It's like they
can they maintain it this series without the refs getting involved? That's what's
Yeah.
going to be the difference maker in this series, in my opinion. Because if they can't do that, Edmonton, it's going to be very tough to slow Edmonton down.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, like what I was going to say is we watched Florida play out of their heads in the last year's playoff, and this year they're playing a more approach style to making the final. They dispatched the Lightning, first time ever in their history. Moved past the Bruins, which surprised absolutely nobody. Moving past the Rangers was kind of shocking because of how well built the Rangers were this year.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're going against Edmonton, which I don't know what the season stats were, but then you have
I can look it
Edmonton have been quite the underdog the entire playoff run. In every series, they're not They're not the team that's going to move on. They're not the team that's going to do this. You literally had 10-year-old children shitting on the Oilers in Vancouver. I'm not going to get into that. That's a whole other thing. Like the Oilers haven't been on this kind of run in what, 18 years?
Yeah,
Like
it's 18 years since the final. And when Dwayne Rolson got hurt, basically, and that's why they lost.
the last time the Oilers were in the finals, I was still living in Alberta, Saskatchewan. Like
Cam Ward's best career year as a rookie.
that still makes you wonder, though. Would the Oilers have won the cup that year if Roley didn't get hurt?
Yeah.
But like Bettman, the commissioner, he said as long as he's commissioner, a Canadian team's not going to win the cup. So this year's
When was that said?
I don't know, hot minute ago.
I mean, you can probably
But
find
it
it
was
somewhere in a
said.
board meeting. It's probably more or less of
Just
my Canadian
Google
teams.
it.
He means
It's
the
there.
Leafs, and yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I actually wouldn't be shocked.
really,
I wouldn't
really
be shocked if Edmonton won the cup this year, man. Like
I wouldn't
I
be
think I personally think it's going to be Florida, but I wouldn't be shocked to see if it was Edmonton.
Well,
I
here's
mean,
the thing.
go on, Will.
Here's the thing: if Edmonton does win the cup, Treliving is in for a lot of money spent because he made a declaration that every Boston Pizza will be renamed. So it's, I guess, whose pockets are deeper, Bettman's or Treliving's?
or
I
pockets
wonder.
for Western Conference media people who support that, right? Like if you think about it, the Oilers, even in away games, the fucking stadium was full. The outside circle bullshit thing was always full of people, and there was always empty seats at the other stadiums.
That sounds like
Like-
every Leaf game in a regular season, though.
Yeah.
It's fucking pathetic. So I think like just monetarily,
American Airlines was
wants,
packed.
you know.
So during the regular season, Florida beat Edmonton both times. They scored 5 goals
Yeah.
per game. Edmonton only averaged 2. So
Is that
was-
pre
yeah,
their
that's
run
awesome.
or after their run?
pre their run? It was
So they
It was
played
all
November
delay.
20th. They played November 20th, and Florida beat them 5-3, and then they played December 16th, 2023, and Florida beat them 5-1.
they were 13, 14, and 1 at the end of that game.
Is that the
And
game that
then-
got Dickhead fired?
Let's find out.
Somebody from the West has to know this. Now,
Let's see.
Justin, given the fact that you're involved in hockey,
He
a lot
was
more
fired
Than,
after they were 3-9-1.
okay. Given the fact that you're heavily more involved in hockey in the western side of Canada than most of us, does this run by the Oilers surprise you in the least?
I mean, the start of the season surprised me more than anything. I was not expecting them to come out of the gates that flat.
Yeah, I agree with
It
you.
was pretty embarrassing, to be honest, as a fan. I've been an Oilers fan since '93, so it's been a long journey through the decade of darkness, and I was like, oh no, here we go again. But yeah, it definitely felt like we were wasting a couple careers at the start of the season, and then yeah, they went on that run, and since they've turned it around, I'm not surprised. They've kind of steamrolled a lot of teams other than goaltending. Like, to be honest, they could have swept every series if it wasn't for some shaky games in net. So, like,
I'm very
they
shocked.
outplayed Vancouver in most of the series, all but one game, I think. So they
Now-
whooped LA. LA had a big comeback in one game where they were up by like 4 goals at one point. So it's just like the Oilers gave away a few of the games that they lost. So I don't know, but
Hell,
So,
it's a comedy
insane.
franchise.
My next question is for Danger and Justin, though, because I need to know this because I don't give a shit about the Oilers, really. Had Thatcher Demko been playing in the Vancouver series, does Edmonton move on?
I don't think so. Not the way they played. Well, and it's because of the goaltending, really. I think they could have scored on Demko just as much, but
Demko would have made those key saves.
yeah, he would have stopped a few more of the ones that the rookie didn't. I mean, the rookie came in, Shelovs or whatever his name is.
Yeah,
He played amazing for them, honestly.
I agree.
To,
Yeah.
to come in and step in, like, just get called up out of the blue, out of the AHL, and come into the Stanley Cup playoffs and play like he did. I thought he played really well. I know his numbers near the end of the series weren't that great, but to start the series, he was really good. And slowly, I feel like Vancouver just started to play worse and worse in front of him. I don't feel like it was on him that the goals were going in, because he was stopping 3-4 shots in a row, and then the Oilers would bury the rebound. And it's like, fans look at the box score and look at his numbers after, and they're like, well, he played like crap. And it's like, no, he didn't. He was playing unreal, and your team was not helping him out very much. So
Fair
I don't
enough.
know.
Danger,
I
your
think
thoughts?
Demko definitely changes that series a little bit, though, because Demko is probably top 3 goalie in the league, personally, in my opinion.
I mean, I've had the pleasure of watching Thatcher play in the AHL against the Marlies a numerous amount of times. I've even chirped him while he sat next to the glass, and he just doesn't like me. But I digress. Danger, what is your thoughts on this?
I think I always call him Shilvo, so I don't know. But she loves. He was good. He did really good the first couple games, and then just like Justin said, the team kind of just fucking faded away from the goalie eventually, and then just let him sink on his own. But he didn't sink; it was the team that sank. I agree.
Okay, Ginger, your thoughts on that? You think Thatcher Demko's a big game changer in that series?
Do I think Thatcher? Dude, I'd give 3 of my kids to have Demko in a Leafs jersey.
3. Give them all 5.
No, it would be too quiet here.
Yeah, but you'd have Thatcher Demko winning us games.
Okay, yeah, sure, 5.
Dusty, what do you think, man?
I still think Edmonton would have won.
Yeah.
I don't know. As a Leaf fan, watching how clutch the key players are in Edmonton, the guys that show up when the games actually matter, like Leon Draisaitl, Connor McDavid. You got Hyman showing up too, right? And then underrated too, like Nuge, like
that man's seen
right?
some shit.
Yeah, he's been with a team. He's seen the struggle. Like, you're gonna have a fired up guy in this playoffs, and I could see him kind of being an underrated player in this series.
Fair.
He
What about you,
does so much good stuff on the ice too that doesn't show up in the box score. Like,
exactly,
just defensively coming back. Like, remember that empty netter that he stopped this year? Like, just getting on a source and getting back.
Yeah,
he just does so much good stuff that, like, I guess the average fan that's just looking at stats after the game wouldn't realize.
That's exactly why I hate analytics, because it doesn't show you what players actually do.
Yeah,
it just shows you when they fuck up and do something good.
Yeah, it doesn't bring the tangibles that they bring to the ice.
Jamie, your thoughts on Thatcher Demko and the Oilers, if they'd move on or not?
I think they would have moved on. I think just the way that Edmonton was playing, they're very streaky, and I think that just would have rolled over no matter who the opponent was.
Okay. Scals?
Losing Demko and then DeSmith back-to-back in that first round, I think just demoralized the team. Even though Shilos played out of his mind in that series against Edmonton, without Demko, I don't think they would have been able to move on. And if they had Demko playing, I think the team would have been more confident and scored more than they did. So I don't think Edmonton would have moved on.
I just kind of think, like, a team's going to give more juice if they've got a third stringer in net, right? And you can do that in the regular season for 20 games straight because it's easier. But when the playoffs come, like, you can only give your all 3 testicles all game for so long before you burn out. And then, a goalie who's not ready for it is going to really find out quick, right? Where Demko, maybe they're calmer, maybe they're more reserved, and maybe they go deeper. It's a lot easier on your head when you're not worried about what's happening behind you.
Mm-hmm. I think the Oilers would have moved on, but I think it really broke Vancouver's back losing Besser in Game 7.
Yeah.
I believe it was Besser they lost.
Yeah, and Pettersson being invisible didn't help them either.
I was just gonna say, just as Pettersson playing
their big guns didn't show up, and the Oilers did ultimately at the end of the day.
Right, and I
Mhm.
mean, I'm not discrediting the Oilers by any means. They kind of have a lot of similarities to the 2019 St. Louis Blues. You know, they're on an epic run. Hopefully, the story finishes the same for them, even though I really wish it doesn't. But because
So you'd rather Florida win than your own country, eh?
no, I'd rather not Florida either. If they could both lose, that'd be great. But
I want every game to go 3 overtimes and no one wins.
Same.
Yeah.
just game one go to 12 overtimes. Just
So
to
the
kill them.
players just are too tired to finish the series, and it never ends.
I'm just watching basketball right now, so
Yeah, well, Celtics, baby.
These stupid
Fuck off.
these
The
breaks.
Celtics are really good. We found out in game one.
That's
These
a yearly
breaks
Leafs
are-
fan thing, eh?
What's that?
Fan thing, hey?
It's weird seeing one of our teams do good. You know, I got to watch that with the London Knights, and Ginger's watching that with his Mavs and basketball.
It's like
And Dusty's hoping the Jays
2011
figure it
all
out.
over again.
Yeah,
Instead
okay.
of Dirk, we got Luka and Kyrie.
Luka's a beast.
Luka is a beast.
I just don't think he was the MVP this season.
Hey.
All right, speaking of MVP,
He's a great player. There was a player that had better stats overall at the entire season.
Was it
Speak-
another guy who's lanky and
No.
playing and
I remember who I don't remember who it was off the top of my head, but I had someone that I proved people wrong because the player that should have gotten it would have been someone that was ranked in the top 3 in every in all the categories. And
So-
Luka just didn't deserve it again this year, but they gave it to him because he won it before.
so because you brought up the MVP conversation, Scals, I'm going to start with you. Give me a player from each team that deserves the Conn Smythe at the end of the series.
Fuck, I'm not prepared for that question.
All right, Jamie, I'll let you figure it out. Jamie, who do you think?
Thanks.
Sorry. What's going on?
Who do you
Conn
think
Smythe.
who do you think would be the Conn Smythe? Having
MVP of the
either team
finals.
win.
Oh, okay.
Give me one player from each team.
Be Kachuk and McDavid.
Okay, Dusty.
I like your Kachuk pick, and then say Hyman.
damn it.
It's a good pick.
All right,
I'm ready.
go ahead.
In order for Florida to win this, Bobrovsky's going to have to play out of his mind, so he's going to win the Conn Smythe.
Okay,
And
for Edmonton.
the opposite needs to be McDavid to take over the entire series for them to win it.
All right, Danger.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't really give a shit about the Eastern Conference, but
Shocking.
but I don't know.
Right on.
Everybody's gonna say Draisaitl or McDavid or whatever, but Bouchard, I think honestly, has fucking showed up.
Former London Knight, baby. Justin.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Draisaitl. And Bob. I think Bob's already probably earned it for that team. He's played lights out in every series.
Mhm.
He was spectacular round one. He's made some. He could have his own top 5 saves of the playoffs highlight pack. So
Okay.
he's been unreal.
What about you, Ginger?
Jack Campbell or Roberto Luongo?
So you wish you could have Campbell back, buddy.
No, we
all
don't.
5 kids,
No, I-
all 5 of my
Yeah.
kids up for him.
918 with the Leafs.
He is a
baby.
super nice guy.
For me, and you know what? As much as it does pay me to say this, and I will get to my point of who I think, but if Florida wins, I'll be kind of happy because one of my favorite goalies is Roberto Luongo, so it'd be nice to see him have that as at least a management. Give me Bob for Florida, obviously, because that man is just Officer Bob, and if you've watched TSN growing up, you understand that joke. And Edmonton, fucking Cody Ceci, why not?
Why
Cody's
Bad
easy.
either.
No, but for Edmonton, it'd probably be Bouchard, I think.
Great minds think alike, my friend.
So,
Yes, Crosby does still play.
I actually
Indeed. He is-
I had the odds
Right, he
on
does.
it actually.
What's that?
Let's see. I had the odds from a betting site.
Yeah, Sidney Crosby does play. His Penguins didn't make it to the playoffs though.
Fuck Dubas.
Yes,
Does
Florida.
Ovechkin still plays, eh? He's still.
Yeah, he's still old as fuck.
Yeah, okay.
Did
So-
Makar win the Conn Smythe when the Avs won, or was that McKinnon?
I think that was McKinnon, wasn't it?
Oh, okay. Yeah, no. I saw a stat
Maybe,
the
I
other day
don't
that
No, I feel like it was Makar.
You could be.
yeah, Bouchard tied a stat with Makar, Bobby Orr, and Paul Coffey, I think, for playoff stats.
Ooh,
All
Bobby
right,
Orr.
so
The
I
only
looked up
forward-
the odds on the Conn Smythe. McDavid is number 1. Bob is number 2. No, someone none of us said. Barkov is the third. Kachuk, Draisaitl, and Bouchard is actually in there.
Hell yeah.
I'm surprised Verhage is not mentioned.
He's underrated. He's
Yeah.
always been.
He's right under Bouchard actually.
Every-
26-1 odds.
It's got a
the
bit of
only
Justin
reason-
Williams going on. Game 7 hero.
Yep, exactly.
The only reason I'd be okay with the Oilers winning in any capacity is because I want to see a London Knight win the cup. So
I want to see a Canadian fucking team win the cup for the first time in over 30 years.
yeah, you weren't even alive the last time they did that.
Yeah, okay, whatever.
I,
So it would be my first time. I want to like break my virginity, okay? I want to see us win.
It was Montreal last time. Nobody cares anyway.
it was in '93. Yeah,
Fuck
it
those.
was
See,
before the
my
Rangers
two
won.
teams,
That's why you need
that if
win
Canada's
again.
going to win the cup, the two
Because
teams
if-
that can't do it is Edmonton and Montreal.
You need the Rangers to win again, so it breaks the streak. That's why the Rangers should have won this year, because they started the streak. You need them to win to end it.
Well, if
Yeah,
they got
but you know what else
Shesterkin
could have
some
break-
help, they might have.
You know what else could break
Well,
that streak? The
If
last
Trouba,
time.
if Trouba wasn't a dumbass and decided to actually just sit down instead of playing on a broken ankle,
Listen,
they
you know
might
what
have
else
actually
break
won.
Scouts, I want you to listen really closely to what else could break that streak. Because the team
Not
that started
throwing
that streak
elbows.
won the President's Trophy that year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they lost, and they won it this
Yeah.
year, and they lost. So that could break the streak too.
No, because they won the President's Trophy in 2014 and lost.
Yeah, it's
They were the last team to get
Well,
as
the
far
President's
as they did.
Trophy. President's Trophy winner usually like
gets fucked
the
up.
last one was Chicago, but a lot of them get knocked out between the first couple of rounds.
Yeah. All right, I got a serious question that I need an answer to because we all know both fan bases do this. But what are the over under odds on titty flashes this series?
Oh boy, it's happening.
Oh, well, come on. There's already been one in the Edmonton game.
Yeah, that
And-
changed the entire series.
Bro.
Yeah, but I need to know: are we gonna see a bunch of titties on Twitter in the next like 2 weeks?
I think
Man,
so.
it
I
was
think you started
all
even
you could see the next day. You just scroll and it was like you'd
Yeah.
feel like you were on a porn website. Just
I mean, that's kind of
Well,
Twitter in general lately, is it not?
I was gonna say that's coming
Yeah, but
no, fair, fair.
because now you can put
P in
video.
bio.
yeah, watch out for Scouts' OnlyFans content coming soon.
Yes, sure.
Well, as soon as you say that word, it's gonna like your feed's just gonna be flooded.
Yeah, it's too
Link in
late,
bio,
OnlyFans.
or my the best one yet is when all these bots are just liking random shit that I post, and it's like, oh, cool, you're not useful.
All I gotta say is the fans in the Western Conference, they do it better.
Mhm.
That's not true. You have an annoying guy that bangs on the glass.
Don't get me started on
Oh,
the glass
glass
beggar.
beggar.
I'm talking about
Oh,
a person that sits behind Pete DeBoer. So
I don't know. Some of those redneck women in Edmonton get pretty good looking at times.
especially when they
it's
work
your
on the oil
Saskatchewan roots
fields.
coming back to you, Shadow.
If you think about it,
You're
if
from
just
Sask?
not too far up the road a few years ago, there's something happened where a lady got Eiffel Towered at the Calgary Stampede. Could happen in Edmonton.
oh yeah. What was her name? Alexis
Nobody
Fruling.
remembers, but they remember what it looked like.
Alexis Fruling.
He remember.
Wait,
Ginger
what?
remembers.
Ginger's
I
got the
remember her
name.
What are you talking about?
I
They
watched
made a
the
rap
podcast
song
and
about her.
they-
Alexis Fruling.
When was this?
This man
Just
went on a
ruling
deep
her
hunt for
name.
her.
She was the girl who got pork.
It was like
spit roasted at
2016
the
or something,
Calgary
wasn't it?
Stampede back
Yeah,
in
she
the
got
day.
Eiffel Towered behind the stands in Calgary during the
Dude,
Stampede.
Oh
was
yeah.
one girl.
Okay, yeah, I remember that one. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Just
Yeah, we
fooling
know,
around.
Will. We know you're from Nashville and love the redneck women. It's okay.
Where do we think the cup gets presented? North of the border? Like, not who's winning? Like, just like, do we think the
No.
cup is won on Canadian soil, or do you think it's won on American soil?
Ooh, I
Florida.
would love,
Canadian soil.
Canadian soul with the
but
arrow to the heart.
exactly.
It's
It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt me with whoever team wins this, because
Same.
I don't want to see the streak broken. Sorry, guys, and I don't want Florida to win.
Yeah.
So,
There.
Yeah,
so how
but
do you
look
think
at it.
Calgary fans feel right now?
Calgary fans are cheering for Edmonton right now.
No, they're not.
For a
Don't
fact.
kid
Yeah.
yourself.
None of my Calgary friends.
Don't kid yourself.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I know
I know the media
Mine
is
and
feeding you a
Shadow's
lot
buddy
of
Audie.
shit, but the sports media might be filling everybody's head in Edmonton with shit that the rest of Canada cares, but I assure you we don't. I assure you we do not.
Yeah, we
So,
definitely
The rest
don't.
of Canada only wants their team to be the one to break the streak.
Well,
Been over
Will says one on Canadian soil, but brought home to the States.
Yeah.
to be
that's
honest though,
yeah.
I wouldn't have hated
be
to
a
see
fucking
like
ride.
Vancouver win the cup. I wouldn't hate to see Vancouver win the cup. I don't know.
Look, anybody but Edmonton and Montreal was fine to win the cup.
Oh, dude,
what's your problem?
No, you don't want to see that. You do not want to see the Sens win a cup.
I'd sooner
Well,
see
they would never be
Montreal
closer.
win than
Well, you
Ottawa.
also don't want to see Calgary win the cup.
Yeah, fucking you.
They did in 04.
Like
Prove me
herpes on
wrong.
ice.
They won the cup in 04.
What?
Edmonton Oilers, or excuse me,
That was
the
20
Calgary
years
Is
ago.
this
Flames.
one of those
Puck was in.
Mandela effect things where you were
Like,
remembering
no,
it, but it's
Puck
No,
was
no, the
over the
Calgary
line.
Flames
they
won the cup
said
in
no
04.
goal. Yeah, it was over the line and it was no goal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but
the
they had
foot.
one that didn't go over the line in '89 that did count as a goal, so they still only have one
Oh,
cup
so
if you
it
go by
evens out.
actual calls.
Yeah, fuck you, Justin.
Just what makes me sad, is that I think for Dallas, this was the year to do it.
No,
Well,
No way,
they're
dude,
young.
no.
They're still a young team.
The
Well,
amount of
dude, you guys
prospects
are-
you guys have
yeah.
coming,
Yeah.
Well,
They're a young
yes.
team.
Stank
What
coming.
I'm
Oh, dude,
saying
you
is,
guys
like,
have a bright future.
with the veteran roster, I think this was good time to strike when the iron's hot. I think we'll be back, but it will probably be another 3 years, and then we'll probably be in a Stanley Cup.
No,
The only thing that made me
I thought you
sad
guys
is-
were going to win a cup this year.
You're speaking
thought so,
like you're a
too.
Leafs fan. You
He
guys
was
are
a
gonna
Leafs fan and
probably
switched.
Make it to
I
the
will-
third round again next year.
yeah,
He
yeah.
was
Listen,
he was
you
a
wanna know
Leafs
what-
fan and switched.
I'll tell you all right now why the Oilers are
Oh.
not winning the Stanley Cup this year. And it's 2 words: Corey Perry. The pride
would
of
have to-
Peterborough, Ontario, Corey Perry.
I mean, how many times can you go
Tough.
to the final and not win it after winning one?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
this-
well, I mean, what he won one in
He's
07,
probably
and then
good.
it's been.
Yeah, he's been there 4 times since without winning.
Yeah.
Well, this
Always
will
a
be the
bridesmaid now.
fourth time, yeah.
I'm not gonna lie though, even being a Leaf fan, getting to the final, man.
I would hate to
That's
see our
how
city in the
deprived
final,
we are.
man.
Oh, that
I
would be
really would.
Do you
unbearable.
know how stressed out we'd be, boys, if we were in the
Yeah.
finals right now?
Well, we wouldn't be. We're stoners.
I'm,
True.
We said, what? We're at the final, man?
Like-
What?
I'm just excited for the
There's
future
a
of our
third
team.
round.
We got Joe, we got Stankoven, absolute units. Robertson's still young.
Oh man, Dallas is gonna be a force.
yeah.
to be
Powerhouse.
reckoned with,
Yeah,
man.
powerhouse.
Dallas
I'm
is
still
gonna-
mad about Stankoven too. The only
Like,
reason
I
he
honestly-
fell them there was because of his size. Like I had him in the top 15 in my mock going into the draft, and I was like begging teams to take him, and nobody did because he's small. Same thing happened with Braden Point and a couple other guys from the WHL, and it annoys me all the time. I think I'm one of the few scouts though that's like sizes and everything. Like I know a lot of scouts that are like, "Oh, he's 6'5". We could teach him how to stick handle." Like I'm like, "What?" Like,
But
No.
it's not everything, and that's been proven by multiple players in the league.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
if you have enough shitbird in you and you're smart, you can get away with playing at the size Stankoven does, and he's
Yeah.
ultra skilled and makes you pay for it.
And if you can move the puck quick too.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah. Really,
The
that's
difference-
what
That's a
they
scouting
mainly
pet
want on
peeve of
defense.
mine. Size over skill and
Yeah.
IQ.
So
yeah, you want guys with the IQ because then you know, especially under pressure, then you know how they're going to react to it, right? Like you can't teach that kind of stuff.
There's a lot of guys that get drafted higher than smarter players just because you can't
Yeah.
teach size. You know, we've all heard that stupid saying.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, well, sometimes you can't teach a big oaf how to frickin' dangle in a phone booth either.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like you're wasting a pick sometimes on a guy that you're projecting to be a fourth line grinder when you could take the kid that, okay, he's boom or bust, but like if he makes it, dude, you got a first line like 90-point guy, even though he's like 5'10. Like I don't know. It's
Oh,
just
yeah.
a pet peeve of mine. Sorry for ranting.
Oh no, perfectly fine.
Wow.
she left. I think she left.
But
Okay. Justin, so a question for you. What do you
Sorry.
think? No, you're fine. What do you think of the draft from the pandemic era and how those players developed? Like, do you
Well,
think that hurt their
it's
growth?
tough because you're cutting off like it's hard to say really because like obviously those guys, well, a lot of them are still they were still skating at their home rinks and stuff, but like you're missing those development camps with getting in there like at 17, 18 years old, getting into to mix it up with all the NHL guys at rookie at main camp and stuff like that. And you learn a lot from going and seeing the pace of play. Going from junior to the NHL is a huge step for most people, unless you're a Connor McDavid or a Bedard.
Mm-hmm.
Are going to take a couple years to get there. A couple years in the AHL, you're going from playing with teenage boys to playing with men that have men's strength and play at a way higher pace, think the game faster, have experience, years of experience on you. Some of these guys have been in the NHL longer than some of these kids have been alive. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
you're missing a ton of that when rinks shut down and leagues shut down. You're missing so much development time at a crucial age too, because
Yeah.
you can't get that back. Like if you're going from 17, like to say the WHL shuts down, you're missing 2 years playing bubble hockey or whatever, not going to camps and stuff. You're now what 20, going to like your first NHL camps and stuff like that. So I think it was huge for development for sure.
Obviously, I'm asking because of Alexei Lafreniere, but you saw
Yeah.
like his development this year, how much it jumped from the previous years,
Yeah.
and if
Well,
that
keep
didn't
in mind
happen,
when he was drafted, he had concussion problems too. So
this is true. Yep.
he hasn't had a concussion in a while. I think his head's finally healing and he's becoming the player that he was projected to be. You know what I mean? Or at least reaching some of that potential.
Fair
Because
enough.
it's hard to play when you've had multiple concussions in junior, like, and then you go to the NHL where they hit even harder. Like
Mhm.
your head's kind of already scrambled a little bit. Like, so I always worry about guys that are getting drafted that have a history of concussions because I just worry that they're never going to reach that tip of their potential. You know what I mean?
Hey, Justin, I
Mhm.
have a question, kind of like off topic, but on topic, because you are a, what is it called? Sorry. What's your
I'm a
Scout.
scout.
What's your name? Sorry, what do
A
you
scout.
do? Scout.
A
Okay.
scout.
You're
Yeah,
a
for the Moose
scout,
Jaw
okay.
Warriors.
So, there are fucking Connor whatever from Regina, but I'm thinking about
Bedard.
Edmonton. Connor Bedard. Dylan Gunther in Edmonton. What do you think of him?
Oh,
From the
he's unreal. He was so good in the WHL. Like he would make everybody like he would look like a man playing with boys. Like same way Connor Bedard looked in Regina.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
impressed.
based out of Regina, so I've seen Bedard play live quite a few times. He embarrassed our team quite a few times.
Mm-hmm.
Single-handedly carried Regina to a couple wins against our entire team. So, but yeah, it's just like there's certain guys that like you see them play against other junior players, and it's like, man, you should probably already be in the American League. I know there's like an age rule that you can't at a certain age, but like there are just certain kids that are much more developed than other ones in junior hockey.
Yeah, I was impressed by Gunther's. I don't know exactly, but it was a trick shot. It was a stick play, and it was beautiful. I was impressed, and I was hooked on him ever since. And I know that
Yeah,
makes it sound
he's
creepy, but
ultra
he's old.
skilled. No, he's super skilled. So
Let's finish up the topic and then we can go into some other stuff real quick. But I got one last thing I want to ask about the Oilers and Panthers final. So I'll start with Danger. Who's winning and in how many games?
I think it's going to go to game 6 and at least game 6. And I want it to be the Oilers, but I honestly think that Florida might win.
Okay. Justin?
I've got Oilers in 7. Ultimately, it's going to come down to how far McDavid and Draisaitl take the boys versus how well Bob plays. And ultimately, it'll come down to which Stuart Skinner shows up as well. So,
Okay. Dusty?
I say Florida in 7.
Okay. Ginger?
You guys say Stuart Skinner. I say Stuart Bennington. Oilers in 6.
Okay.
how you're going to say Stuart Winner.
Yeah, right? I thought that's where I was going.
Stuart Winner. Can I do over?
The bong rips got to you on that one for sure.
Jamie?
Oh, yeah.
I think it's going to be the Panthers in 6 in Canada, laying the dagger on Canada.
So
And,
Carolina it?
Which day?
And also I just think that, those Western Conference playoff series were just absolute, it wasn't slaughterhouses like the Eastern Conference playoff matchups, except the New York Rangers matchup. That one was pretty physical, but a lot of them were hard fought, physical. They went long. Edmonton is a little bit beat up to this point, and I think that will play a big factor into it.
Right,
Skinner, he's on a resurgence right now, on a reset, but that can only take him so far.
All right. Scouts?
Also, Pickard is bringing the cup to Moncton.
Former Calder Cup winner, Calvin Pickard.
I think
Moncton
Florida's winning in
native
6.
Calvin Pickard.
Yeah.
His brother
Okay.
was pretty good too. I bet you're
Yeah.
glad you traded Rask.
Oh,
You said Florida in 6?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be the big asshole right now. Edmonton in 7. Quadruple overtime.
oh,
Zach Hyman with the winner, fucking up Toronto and everybody in the process.
I'm not touching Twitter for a month.
Bro, if it goes anything past 3 OTs,
Carter
in game 7,
Carter
I'm turning
Verhaeghe
everybody
in Game
off.
7. Carter Verhaeghe in Game 7.
Listen,
If it
I
goes to
just
OT,
want to.
yeah, I would place money on
Carter
Verhaeghe.
Verhaeghe scores on himself. Last person to touch the puck before was Zach Hyman.
No, make it better.
Ceci with the assist.
That's what I was gonna... Listen, if the Oilers are gonna do it, I want every bit of the fan base to suffer through 6, 4, 9 OTs before they get that cup win. All right.
No,
We're gonna
I
wake up in the morning.
to invest.
Going to bed that night.
You wake
We're
up in
gonna
the
wake
morning,
up
they're
at
still
7 in the
playing.
morning and they're still playing. Yep.
I'm okay with that because it's not my team in the game 7.
Yeah, you're sleeping peacefully. Fuck.
Yeah.
No, I'd be glued to that TV to see what happened.
Yeah, we gotta know.
So the next little topic I want to talk about, I pay attention to junior hockey. Obviously, Justin is a huge person in junior hockey.
Oh,
Dusty, I know you pay
junior
attention a
hockey.
little bit.
Let me go
Uh,
put on a real junior hockey jersey here.
So I got a question for you, Justin, and it's actually one of your boys. Mackenzie, where do you see him going in the draft this year?
Peyton McKenzie?
No, Pavel.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I don't know if he gets drafted, to be honest with you.
No?
I don't know. I don't think he's ranked by Central Scouting too high right now.
He had a hell of a run with you guys this year, from what I've seen.
Yeah, no, he's a good player, good kid too. Comes from a good family. So
Did you go down to Saginaw for any of the games, or you were just at home?
no, I stayed home. Our whole office staff went, but I don't think any of our scouts went.
I really wanted you guys to play us in the final because I feel like that would have been a better matchup. But we got a historic final.
We were spent by the Sammies. Like we played well in the first period against Saginaw, and then I think just like all the overtimes we played, like we set a WHL record for overtimes in the Eastern Conference final with we played 6 overtimes against Saskatoon. So it was a lot of hockey for those boys. And by the time we got there, I feel like the WHL is a lot more physical than the OHL and the QMJHL too. So we're a little like more banged up by the time we get to the Men Cup.
You don't have players suspended for stupid shit, in the W either. But whatever. Doesn't matter. London ran out of steam, unfortunately, and it broke my heart a little bit, but proud of the boys.
Hey, you got close, though. 20 seconds is not much you can do about that.
No.
So is there a player coming up in the W right now that you think like has that potential to be like the next kind of offensive threat in
that would be Gavin McKenna, Connor Bedard's cousin.
Yeah.
He had 97 points this year as a rookie. 16-year-old. He's really smart with the puck. He drives the play. He's the best player on the ice most of the time.
As a rookie.
Yeah. He played a bit last year as an underager, an underage call-up, but he wasn't I don't think he had exceptional status, so he wasn't allowed to play the whole year, but he's unreal.
Now, I know I'm bugging you, and I'm sure people out there have questions too, but the one thing that I heard you were talking about is how so many people have these high hopes on these junior players coming to the end. And they just try to thrust them into greatness, right? When they're still teenagers.
That was Edmonton for a long time.
Right. And I know you've seen my tweet because I think you liked it, but like my biggest fear as a Leaf fan, but also as a Knights fan, is the expectation most Leaf fans are gonna have on Easton Cowan.
You
because
mean already have?
Yeah,
Right.
already, yeah.
And that scares me because that kid is good, but he needs time to develop at the NHL level.
He's still got acne. Like, let him get over that first.
So I guess my question for you would be, how do you navigate the waters with a lot of these kids that are potentially on the cusp of NHL rosters coming out of camps?
Well, luckily for me, that's not a decision I ever have to make. That's always up to general managers and stuff. Scouts basically just tell you what they see, send it off, and it goes to somebody higher above us. So,
right, but I mean, I'm sure you have conversations with these kids at times, right?
Yeah, no, it's like, I guess, like, in my opinion, there's no such thing as too much development. Like, you're never going to ruin a kid by developing them an extra year, but you have the potential to ruin a kid bringing them up at 18. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, like, if he's not ready for that, you can kill a kid's confidence. He could get hurt, possibly, for not being ready for that pace of play, not being ready for the physicality. So it's really like it's a case-by-case basis, obviously. There's some kids that are 17 that could play in the NHL. There's some kids that won't be ready till they're 24, right? So
defensemen are high on that, right? Like defensemen typically take longer to develop than
they take longer,
players.
yeah, because they have more responsibilities, right? Like basically the hierarchy goes goalies, the most important, defensemen, centers, and then wingers. Wingers have the least amount of responsibilities, basically. So you'll see a lot more wingers make it before anyone else, just because they really have to go out there and just provide points, kind of thing. Obviously, I'm like breaking it down.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. That's kind of what I was looking for.
But yeah, I think you have to temper expectations for some high drafted kids, though, because at the end of the day, different teams are looking for different things. Some teams are drafting. And it depends where you're drafting as well, right? When you're drafting number 1 overall, you're looking for that franchise kid that's going to come in and potentially change your your team around. But if you're drafting like the late 20s, you're projecting a kid 5-6 years out sometimes.
Right.
What his potential is going to be if you develop him properly, not bring him in at 18. So it just it really depends. I personally think Easton Cowan needs probably 2 years of the American Hockey League to really get a full robust game. Defensive
One more year
game,
in
work
juniors and
work
2
on
in
the
the A, and
speed.
I think he'll be ready.
Yeah.
Because he's got 1 year left.
But I
his
think a lot of
eligibility.
Leafs fans think he's going to make the team out of camp next year, and it's like, I
I mean, he might, but
He
it'd be
could.
the stupid decision.
Yeah, he's got the skill to do that, but is that the best thing for him? That's a question for Leafs management, obviously.
Yeah, they're not the smartest.
And
bunch.
they will have those discussions, obviously, as they go through rookie camp, development camp, main camp. So
Now, I'm going to segue that into the final segment of the show. I'm going to call it 2 minute for interference. But Scals, biggest surprise of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Doesn't matter what round, doesn't matter what game, doesn't matter what. What's your biggest surprise in this playoffs?
The biggest surprise?
Yeah, like something you did not see coming that just went, whoa.
I don't know at the moment. I'm trying to think.
Aw, I love that you had your hand up.
Which channel go?
I love how my internet just went out there. That's great. Jamie, do you have one since Scals is thinking?
Yeah. So my surprise shouldn't come as a surprise, but it does. Is the Boston Toronto, like how that one ended?
Really?
If Wall plays, they don't lose.
Exactly. That's why I'm like that. How Wall went down. That was.
Tell them, Shadow.
well, if their 70 goal scorer does more than what he did,
Tell
they
them.
don't even go 7. So
Yeah.
Well, that's
Thank
true.
you.
But
So
if you had a little Leon Draisaitl in him, you guys would be a cup favorite every year.
So the Joseph Wall injury was the that moment for me.
All right, Justin, what's your biggest wow factor moment of the playoffs?
Vegas stinking it up after loading up again.
I love it.
See, I think I called
love it
that.
too, but
Yeah, but right, I think I
just,
said
that's
the
one
Shadow.
I know they're like their GM comes from the Brandon Wheat Kings. Obviously, I'm very familiar with him. I love what he does. Obviously, he's playing by the rules, but I hate it as an opposing fan. You know what I mean?
they need to
Like
change that.
it sucks.
They won't.
And Chicago did it back in the day when they won their cup, and Tampa tried to get a vote to change it, and every other team shot them down. So they did it the year after and won a cup as well.
Mhm.
And now
They did it
Vegas
2 years in a row.
Yeah, so I mean, it's part of the rules, and
You
I
can't
wish
beat
my
them,
GM
join
was
them,
smart
right?
enough to
But-
do it. But
That's why there's a lot of Leafs players on other teams, Mike. Shadow.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I thought last year they instituted something that you had to be on the team before a certain date in order to play in the playoffs.
That's always been in the rule.
No, like you couldn't be acquired at the trade deadline and be put on a LTIR and then come
I
back for the playoffs. I thought that
I
was
don't know.
something
That's
that they
something
were
that Arizona
introducing.
did, I'm sure.
I don't know about that rule.
Utah.
I thought they were doing something like that last year because of this.
Well, they
Um,
obviously didn't because Hurdle played in the playoffs.
I know.
yeah. Dusty, what's your biggest wow surprise moment of the playoffs? Don't make it Leaf related, please.
No, it's definitely not.
No, we're done.
Man, for me, it has to be Hyman. 14
It's
goals,
Leaf related.
like it's not real, but I just mean like him
Just
kind of
kidding.
showing up, right? Like that being a big. I think that's one of the biggest factors of why Edmonton went as far as they have been.
Every team needs a garbage man that stands by the post, and
Exactly, and like it's
I
so
mean,
underrated. Like
modern day
JVR, like when he was on Toronto, like that was his bread and butter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was against Toronto too.
Ginger, what's yours, man?
I was surprised Colorado thought they could win a second cup with another mediocre goalie. Next question.
All right. God damn it.
Shots fired. Holy.
Danger, I know yours is going to be Oilers related because you don't pay attention to anything else. So what's your biggest surprise?
Well, you're right. I'm surprised at how well Skinner has performed this year, considering last year's performance. So, yeah.
Scals, you got one yet?
I'm just
surprised that his boys lost.
no. They were disrespected the entire playoffs. They were never favored in anything. They were always picked as the underdog. I'm just surprised that.
Whoever picked Carolina is an idiot. Carolina is terrible.
Thing to say.
But
Carolina is a terrible playoff team. I don't know how.
I get that, but all the betting odds still had.
No,
Carolina
I know. I'm
winning the
saying
series.
whoever
It's
did
still,
that
like,
though, they're dumb. I'm never picking Carolina ever again in my bracket.
Just the overall scoring for Edmonton, like just how many points they're actually putting up for the players, because you have 4 people over 20 points, and those are top 4 in the playoffs right now.
That's
Like,
absolutely insane.
That's just so surprising to me.
It's insane, yeah.
I mean, if you think back to when Colorado won the cup, though, they got swept, or they swept the Oilers, but the Oilers still had Leon and Connor leading the playoffs points until like the end of the finals. Like they were unreal that year too. It's just the rest of the team was not very good.
Right. So. I have 2. One is Hyman because he showed up and he's being the player that we all knew he could be. And 2, it's an Oilers blue liner, and that is the emergence of Evan Bouchard showing up and showing out. He has shown that he belongs. He can compete. He can go. And to me, that's all you can ask for. Like, I've watched him in London for X amount of years, and then watching him go up, he kind of was like, but now he's kind of he's asserted himself into that lineup, and he's not coming out. Mm-hmm. So
he's so smart. It just took him a while to get to the pace of the NHL, but that's what I'm going back to what I said about drafting kids with high hockey IQ. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, a smart kid can figure it out. So
that's exactly it. Does anybody else have any final thoughts before we wrap this up?
My final thoughts is the winner of the Off the Top NHL Bracket Challenge. Nah, other than that, I don't have any other thoughts, man.
Oh, I did want to bring up one more thing, and it's wrestling related and NHL related. The championship belt that's going to be handed out here at the end of the playoffs to whoever wins. What you guys' thoughts on that?
I think it's pretty cool. Like my 2 worlds kind of converging.
Wait, they're handing that out to the team? I thought they were making that for fans to purchase.
They are, but the first thing to get it would be the Oilers or the Panthers.
Oh, that's even cooler than I thought it was. Yeah, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like, I haven't watched wrestling since like the WWF era, like Stone Cold and those guys. That's when I was big into wrestling. But I would definitely probably purchase that belt like that. It's pretty cool. Like, look at that thing.
Is sick, yeah.
And they're gonna have the logo where they on the 2 sides of the team that wins.
Mine's
apparently.
still better.
The only thing I would have done would have been put the NHL logo on the top with the WWE logo on the bottom. That's the only thing I would have swapped.
Yeah, it's cool, but I think overall each team will have
make it
a
a
similar
spinner like John Cena's old one. It spins.
For me, I said it on Twitter too, and I think that's going to be the design going forward for all the teams. It'll just swap out the Stanley Cup and the Stanley Cup name with whatever team and logo.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, my belt is still better. It doesn't matter. I own a Leafs belt because I'm that cool.
Cool is not the word I would use, but okay.
Just jealous. Don't be a hater. Dusty, did you have any thoughts on that championship belt before?
I think it's pretty neat. So you said they're actually giving it out to the players?
To the team.
To the team. So the Oilers or the Panthers will get it to go into their trophy case.
I'm assuming that one that's handed out is going to be actual diamonds and stuff, probably.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
So is that like
much more expensive than the Fanatics?
No. It's just WWE is doing that.
Oh, okay. That's
WWE is presenting the winner
cross
with that
promo.
belt.
That's
Oh, cool.
Ginger, do you have any thoughts on it?
The belt,
Yeah.
sick as fuck, man. But it needs to be a spinner.
I know a guy that can make you a spinner if you really want one.
Yeah. I mean, an
I'd ask Danger,
actual
but she called me
physical
stupid
spinner
with
belt.
mine. So
I didn't, but you caught the underlying message, so good for you.
I'm smarter than the average bear, boo boo. Shit, I don't even think you're old enough for that reference.
Yogi.
Fuck. I'm not fucking 12.
You still are to me. But anyway, with that being said, this has been Ringside Chatter on Off the Top Media. Mr. Jamie, where can the people find you?
Oh, you can find me on Twitter at Jamie Rose PW, repping that hashtag Texas Hockey. Can it just be October already? And on the wrestling side of things, you can catch me at Diamond State Wrestling on the socials and the YouTube. I do the commentary there with Jake Hatley, and we're just trying to put out the best shows we can for you guys. But other than that, hockey is a newfound passion for me. I'm just excited that you guys let me come on and express that with you guys, and really appreciative of that. Thank you guys.
Justin, if you wish to plug anything, by all means, plug it now.
You can find me on Twitter at Wheels, aka J. That's Wheels with a Z. Yeah, mostly post about hockey, obviously. And I just wanted to say thanks to you guys for having me on tonight. It was fun.
Yeah, it's a pleasure having you. Danger, I don't know if you have anything to plug, but go ahead. Other than yourself.
I don't know, dude. I own a bakery and I sell living benefit insurance.
Oh man, I'm too big to talk about a bakery.
Ginger,
We should
Dusty,
not talk about
Ginger, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Twitter and not at a bakery right now at GingerClaus420. And you can find me and Dusty baked like this, freshly baked, almost weekly or sometimes 5 times a week on our podcast, Puckin' Stoner Dads.
And I'm not a dad, but I'm a stepmom. Can I come?
Yeah, we welcome everyone.
Hey.
Dusty, where can the people find you?
Well, like Ginger's saying, you can find us, the Puckin' Stoner Dads, on our YouTube or Twitter. Or you can find me on Twitter,
Yes, Will.
McDuster705.
Scals?
You can find me here on Off the Top Media on
Yes, a real bakery.
Twitch and YouTube, as well as Off the Top Media _ on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram.
Awesome. You can find me causing a whole bunch of shit with people on Twitter at that guy Shadow91. You can occasionally catch me on the air on Off the Top Media and Rivet City Radio. With that being said, I am Shadow. This has been Ringside Chatter. Thanks for coming. Keep the sticks on the ice and go anybody but the 2 teams that are playing for the cup.
Texas Hockey, baby.